But when I was young, the only thing we knew about Hedy Lamarr was this. A wonderful, beautiful actress, and that was it. Nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. A lot of very interesting movies. There was just that. A pretty woman. Une très belle femme. Okay, why not? No problem. I'll show you a very short interview, 7 minutes interview of this new Hedy Lamarr we have discovered.
Tell us, who was Hedy Lamarr? Hedy Lamarr was a Jewish child who was born in Austria in the shadow of the First World War. And then she became extraordinarily beautiful when she was about, 10, 11 years old. And that kind of swept her away. She became an actress, and she flees to the United States and convinces Louis Lumiere to make her his next great star on the silver screen.
That was the public Hedy Lamarr, but it was the private, unexpected Lamarr who director Alexandra Dean found far more compelling.
Inventing was her hobby. She not only had a complete inventing table set up in her house, but Howard Hughes gave her a small version of the set of equipment, which she had in the trailer where she stayed in between takes in her motion pictures.
So she had no formal training in engineering or chemistry or anything like that. She was just naturally gifted. And that basic idea of frequency hopping became part of what's known as spread spectrum. Spread spectrum is what's in all of our technology today.
Lamarr had a patent on the technology, but it was confiscated because she was an Austrian immigrant and considered an enemy alien. She was never compensated for her invention, which the film estimates to be worth around $30 billion today.
When we began making this film, some scientists said to me, she was probably a spy. She probably stole this invention from the Nazis and brought it to the Allies as a spy, and we still realize it now. Doesn't that make a lot more sense to you than this movie star coming up with this incredible invention? I mean, serious scientists said that to me at the beginning of my research, and I really had to confront that assumption in the film. She really examined what she'd been through, and she came out with some wisdom. And the reason we know that is she would call her children and leave them these long messages on their answer phones, which they would record. And on one of her answer phone messages, we found her really trying to tell her son the message of her life through this poem. In the poem, she's saying to him, you might feel kicked in the teeth. You might feel that the world never understands you or applauds you for your greatest achievements. But you know what? Do it anyway. Do it anyway, because it's in doing this great thing that will change the world that you will find the meaning of your life.
Quel était son secret? What was her secret for developing this so interesting mind about inventing so many different things and so useful, some of them? Une résilience de la part de Hedy Lamarr. Mais pourquoi cette résilience? Pourquoi elle et pas tant d'autres femmes, jeunes filles? What do you think was the secret, Hedy Lamarr's secret? Why she, instead of so many other women? Lamarr was encouraged by her father to go against the law from a young age. And his father would take the time. So you see, to take the time, to be patient. It's a pleasure to take the patience, to take the time to do something. Not in a hurry. Oh, it's because of this, oh, okay, no. Take the time when she was younger to show her how machines work, which may have sparked her interest in STEM and lead her great inventions. But his father played a key role in fostering important attitudes and beliefs which helped her work against these confining societal expectations. Hedy was also encouraged to be herself. Les parents sont les premiers éducateurs. Even if we have not been trained as educators with parents, we are educators. We can be bad educators or good ones. It depends on us. But in fact, we're also victims of our society, so we have to learn with parents. We have to become more sensitive to the impact of everything we can do.
I'm an engineer, and I went to an all-girls high school. And so I want to, at high school level, whether the girls and boys should take math courses and science courses and so on separately or together. I mean, there's a lot of psychology. I hear a lot of stories about, when you have mixed classes, boys and girls together, girls are trying to kind of, holding back so that they don't look nerds. And so what's your opinion on that?
One thing that I've reflected on is that when I am speaking to my cousins, for example, I have both young male cousins and young female cousins. And when I speak to like the young male cousins, I never think to tell them, oh wow, you look really beautiful today, or whatever. But I always feel like that's an important thing to tell my young female cousins. And I think that maybe part of the fact that like a female student would be embarrassed to say anything in front of a class is that they're first being told a priority is beauty. And your assertiveness or your knowledge can come after you've acquired beauty. And I think that I've reflected on this before and I've become, okay, wait, no, I shouldn't be even like mentioning that. As long as the kids have like good hygiene, that's like good enough, right? So like, maybe I should be telling like my cousins like, wow, you're so clever to think of that, or like, prompting them into the idea that against the paradigm that beauty comes first, that in fact actually knowledge comes first, and that's really like Hedwig said, the minds of people is much more interesting than their looks. I don't think that men are told that they don't have to be good looking. Like I think that men worry about that as well. But I don't think I don't think that it's a priority in their ability to succeed. Whereas I think that women are told that it's much easier to succeed if you're also beautiful.